you on the video, that's why. Okay. Om Namo Narayanaya. Hari Om. Pranavam Swamiji. Namaste everybody. Swamiji started our last class with a recapitulation of the previous one, where adhyasa or superimposition of Atma was discussed. Because of ignorance or aviveka, we have this misunderstanding or wrong apprehension of Atma, whereby we believe that the changes in the mind and body, intellect and ego are happening to the Atma. In the 20th shloka, Bhagavad Pada discusses the philosophical point that the functions of the body, mind, senses, intellect are all attributed to the Atma, because all of them derive their energy and consciousness from the Atma. This 20th verse, we experience the Atma Chaitanyam, which is not different from our own self, because all these functions depend on Atma Chaitanyam. Swamiji elaborated on this and explained Surya Loka meditation. Just as there is no difference between the sun and sunlight, there is no difference between consciousness and Atma. This is something that is at a deeper level of understanding and should clearly be understood. Otherwise, Atma Jnanam remains as a theory of the mind and is not experienced. That is why Shankaracharya ji brings all these characteristics of the Atma along with these different meditations. Not only the qualities and functions of the body and the mind, but also the actions of these, karmani, are also superimposed on the Atma, which is pure and immaculate by nature. Atma has no qualities, no functions, but we superimpose everything on it. The Atma is only existence and knowledge, Satchitatmani. This happens because of non-discrimination, aviveka. Using the analogy of the sun, Swamiji made this very clear to us. In the 21st shloka, due to aviveka, non-discrimination, the ignorant people superimpose all the activities on the pure Atma. This is adhyasa. This superimposition is likened to how the colorless and formless sky is attributed blue color, forms and shapes, etc. Similarly, we attribute all that happens to the body and mind to the Atma and feel miserable or happy, etc. Swamiji suggested one should examine these changes, separate body and the mind, and realize that the changes happen to the body. View the body dispassionately as a separate object. This is a discrimination technique that has to be practiced to be really understood. In the 22nd shloka, the same idea is conveyed with a different example. Due to self-ignorance, the mind, which is an instrument, a limiting adjunct for the Atma, is used by us to understand Atma. When we use our thought processes to know Atma, to realize Atma, then Atma is seen through that only. If a person has good qualities, his mind is relaxed and he tries to identify himself through that, then he will see himself as a good person. That is one experience of Atma. This happens with other emotions. The mind becomes agitated because of negative emotions like anger, etc. Normally, we are unable to control this. When some emotions come to mind, we are unable to control the mind because the mind identifies with those emotions. Atma cannot be one with the function of the mind because Atma is all-pervading, and therefore it cannot be only with the mind. This manasa upadhi, the functions of the mind of the limiting adjunct, is identified with Atma because of self-ignorance. Kartritva, the doership and enjoyership and everything else is added with the Atma. With the example of the moon's reflection on the water, we understand that the mind is functioning, but we think that it is the Atma which is functioning. Atma is subtler than the mind, so Atma is not experienced separately. So we take the changes in the mind as Atma's functions and Atma's changes. The meditation here is to try and see the mind as the functions of the mind. It is not possible to control or remove the mind's agitations because the process of removal is also done by the mind. Swamiji spoke to us about the technique of the mind meditating upon the mind. The 23rd shloka points out that all the emotions, raga, dvesha, ichha, sukha, and dukkha, happen in buddhi, in the intellect, in the mind, and not in the atma. It is when the mind or intellect is functioning that these emotions appear. Atma has no connection, but this buddhi is based on that atma because of the reflection here. We know and understand this through the experience of deep sleep, where there is no play of intellect. Nothing is experienced in deep sleep. There is no attachment, no desire, no sukha, no dukkha. Almost the same ideas discussed in all three in the three shlokas with different examples and forms. We can do the same meditation of discrimination, viveka, just like the Surya Loka meditation. So we must try and separate all functions and the Atma and see this Atma as an observer. Let us now listen to Swamiji. Hari Om.
Shruti-smriti-purāṇānaṁ karuṇālayam namāmi bhagavat-pādam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Krito Vande Bhagavanto Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavat Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Tapopikshena papanam Shantanam Vitaraginam Mumukshunam Apekshoyam Atmabodho Bhidhiyate Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Om Namo Narayanaya. Thank you, Anjali ji, for your summary. So, we were discussing the nature of Atman. In all Vedanta, we only discuss this. There is nothing else to discuss. But we can say with different analogies and different views. So the problem with all this is our preconditioned mind. So this preconditioned mind and its tendencies and thoughts and ideas and convictions are so strong. Now it's very difficult to change them. Even to change a little is very difficult. So therefore, when we discuss this subject, Atma, so the nature of Atma, we forgot that this is our inherent nature. What else? We have all these activities. Those are not the nature of Atma, nature of self. Those are all added. No, in our terms, we say attributions. For different purpose, we added all those. So Vedanta is trying to remove and change all those ideas, preconditioned ideas. But as we know, when we think about ourselves, we only think about our body, mind, intellect, all this. Beyond that, there is nothing to think, or there is no chance to think. So that's the problem. Therefore, when we talk about Atma, self, we feel it is totally new. It's something new subject we are talking about, something foreign to us. So that is why again and again Vedanta is emphasizing the nature of Atman, that in any case, in any condition, if it's possible, one should believe that, one should accept that, one be in that. So therefore, we take another shloka with the same subject, the shloka number 24. Prakasho varkasya toyasya शैत्यमग्नेर्यथोष्णता स्वभावः सच्चिदानन्द नित्यनिर्मलतात्मनः Even by chanting these verses, we feel a different energy, no? Because this is talking about our own self. So, prakasho arkasya toyasya shaityam agner yatha ushnata. In this shloka, Bhagavad-pada Shankaracharya ji is trying to bring that the difference between inherent nature and the habitual characters. So what is practiced? The nature of self, inherent nature of self, and the habitual nature of self. I think you understand this. This habitual nature of self means for what we are habituated with by the practice from the childhood. If something good, that's very useful. If something bad, that will also continue. The problem is these practices, these habitual tendencies is there is no provision in the brain, or we can say in the mind, to separate what is good, what is bad. You understand this point? No, whatever there in the mind, it works. No, it works the same. There is no differentiation, discrimination of good and bad. So the good habitual tendencies will also continue, and the bad tendency will also continue. So these actually the personality build in us, and what we feel as a person is, we can say, all these habitual tendencies in the mind. Without this, beyond this, nothing is experienced. Okay, so now if you have some bad habitual tendencies in the past, you will remember all those and you will build the personality with that. You will cover up the nature of Atma with these tendencies, newborn tendencies. So therefore, this habitual character or habitual personality is an object of Atma. Therefore, we are feeling bad about it. If something happens, we feel it. And we know I have this problem, that problem. No, all these tendencies, you identify them. Actually, the theory says, if you see something or you objectify something, it means that object, that matter is different from you. Because subject is different from object. Subject cannot be an object, and object cannot be a subject. Okay. So the Atma is such a subject which cannot be objectified, which cannot be made object. You understand this? So it's always subject. Now you see, what you see as bad qualities, good qualities, my tendencies, no, all this, you make them object because you see it, you know it. You are trying to change it, and sometimes you could change them. Sometimes we accept it, that I cannot change, I am unable to change, I don't want to change. So this is up to you. But the point is, you know that these are the qualities. These are coming to my mind. Therefore, it is not you. It's only a personality superimposed. A personality made by circumstances, by by life, the change in life, or whatever may be the cause. But this personality is not you. This personality is made of body, mind, intellect, ego, equipments. So made of this. Now, this is what we call it, habitual tendencies or habitual personalities or habitual character. Okay. Now, the other part, the subjective part. Now, what is subject? Subject is consciousness. Why we call it consciousness? Because it knows what is happening. It's aware about what is happening. Therefore, it is consciousness. And that the real self, it is inherent and it has a nature of existence, consciousness, bliss. It is eternal and it's pure and all this. And any of these qualities cannot be changed. It cannot be reduced. It cannot be improved, because it is inherent. It's always there. It is essentially with Atma, the essential nature of Atma. So this is the difference between Swarupa and the Swabhava. What we call it in Sanskrit, Swabhava, it means habitual personalities, habitual characters. We say that person has these characters. His habits are not good. So we are clearly identifying the habitual tendencies and habitual practices with that person, but not with the self. We should not connect all this with self, because self has none of these qualities. Okay? Therefore, even now I use the word qualities. This is very important to understand. So the qualities are there in this body-mind complex. There is no quality in Atma, and there is no quantity in Atma. Okay, so this is the difference between inherent nature of Atma and inbuilt nature of Atma, or habitual nature of Atma. So why I am using this habitual nature, I think you understand the meaning I want to convey, because all these characters, these personalities are built by practice. You practiced in this birth or in previous birth, all this in different bodies. So this is what is conveyed here in this sloka. So here Shankaracharya ji is bringing an example. We can say that Prakasha Arkasya, the light of the sun. Now, we cannot say light of the sun is the character of sun. Can we say that? No. We won't say the light is a character of sun. No. And we cannot say light is a tendency of sun. Can we say that? No. And we cannot say light is a quality of sun. No, it is not a quality. Then what it is? Light is sun. Because light is the inherent nature of sun. Because sun is not there without light. Okay. So that's why we say that the nature of Atma, when we call it, that is inherent, it's always there, without any change, without any comparison, without any degrees. That's why. That's the character. That is the self nature. Now you say, now you think about this. Now, which character you want, which nature you want? You want the inherent nature to be experienced, or the habitual nature to be enjoyed? The enjoyment of that. Which you want, we have to decide. So when we decide to enjoy the habitual nature of Atma, we are in this world, in this material world. Because we practice many habits, we try to make our personalities, all this. It means this is the practice of world. So this empirical world is made of habitual tendencies. This is how it is made. And we add something to it. We take something from the material world as well as we add something to it. It's like given and taken, like that. It's like karma, we say. But in inherent nature, it is, since it is unchangeable, you cannot add anything there, you cannot take anything out of it. Like the sun and sunlight. Sun and sunlight, the nature of sun is light. So it is always there. It's called Swarupa Lakshana. What is the word? Swarupa Lakshana. This is called Swarupa Lakshana. Inherent nature of anything. We call it Swarupa Lakshana. Okay. The second, another example is Toyasya Shaityam. Toya means water. Shaityam means coolness. So the coolness of water, it is also essential. It is also inherent in water. So the water is always cool. Water has actually no taste, but we can add taste into that. If you put some sugar into the water, it becomes sweet. Salt, it becomes salty. But the inherent nature of water is cool always. And liquidity is always there. That's it's again the another nature of water, that it is always in the form of liquid. But for water, the coolness is the inherent nature. So when there is no added things in that water, or there is no other activities in the water, like boiling, there is no connection with the heat or connection with other objects. The water is keeping its nature, then it keeps its coolness. When basically water is cool, there is no change. Likewise, agnehe ushnata, heat in fire. The nature of fire is heat. It cannot be changed. But the light in fire is not the inherent nature of fire, light. Why? Because fire is there even without light. In heated vessels, in other things, we can see fire without light. But where there is fire, there is heat. The fire is not there without heat. Therefore, the ushnata, Heat is the nature of. This is what we learn from physics. All these examples are there. We know it. If each object like this has its own inherent nature, then what is our inherent nature? We ever thought about this? What is our inherent nature? Heat is our inherent nature. Like fire has heat, because our body also has some heat, no? So, no. The heat or coolness or light, these are not our inherent nature. Now, we have to search what is inherent nature, or if each object has its own inherent nature, then what is our inherent nature? Because that inherent nature is going to be our protector, and we are that. Therefore, if we know that, we will be living eternal. So there is no end for that character. Okay, there is no change for that. So let all changeable things leave us. The body, mind, our sense organs, or let everything leave us. Our true nature will be there, and it cannot go away. It cannot leave us. So, in search of this true nature, our rishis, jnanis, they found their nature as existence, consciousness, and bliss. And you can also find this. So only thing that the qualification for this, you need some eligibility for this. That is just you inquire, pursue Atma, that's all. So in that pursuit, at last, you will end with this experience that my existence never changes. Okay? And my consciousness never leave me. And I am always longing for bliss, pleasure, enjoyment. I never say I don't want enjoyment. I never think that I don't want pleasure. This is what we experience. So if somebody asks you, no, I am going to give you some pleasure, will you take? Then what would be the answer? Will happily receive it. There is no to pleasure, enjoyable pleasure. Because that is our inherent nature. The problem is we are trying to find it from outside objects. We are ignorant that we don't know it is there with us always. It cannot be prevented. It is always there. Nobody can take that bliss from you. Other people can take your maybe your money, your other objects, and your no, all those. But nobody can take this enjoyment of this bliss, this character. Therefore, it is essential. Can anybody take your existence? Huh? Your existence, even you cannot take, you cannot leave. Then how can anybody take your existence? Your consciousness, nobody can take it. This is why we prove it that our inherent nature is Satchitananda. You prove it now? Is there any doubt about it? I can give many proof for this, as I just give that this existence nobody can take. The others can take your physical body or your objects connected to body or anything like that. But they cannot take this existence, because existence cannot be taken away. So therefore, the second line says in this word, Swabhava Satchitananda Nitya Nirmaladatmanaha. You see how beautifully Shankaracharya puts all this in a simple word, because the real experiencer can teach us very simply, because if because he is experiencing it, so he can simplify it at most, because Atma is simple. It's very difficult to be a practice, very difficult to practice simplicity, because it's along with Atma. So Swabhava here means nature, the nature of Atma, which is Satchitananda, Satchitananda. We already know this, we learned it many times. Existence, consciousness, and bliss, Ananda. And then comes Nitya. And all these are eternal. Nitya. So existence is also Nitya, consciousness is also Nitya, and bliss is also Nitya. And not only that, Nirmalata. Nirmala means pure, inherently pure. Now, what is purity all about? What is purity, what we call as pure? I think you forgot. I told you this in Atmabodha class. What is pure? Purity, what we call is something pure. Pure means the thing as it is, with its own character. Nothing is added and there is no change. Like water is pure when it is in the form of water. No additional thing added into that. Then water is pure. Okay. And milk is pure if there is no water or anything else in that. It means the object, the character of object as it is pure. If something is added or something is mixed with, then it becomes unpure. The Atma with its own character as existence, consciousness, bliss, eternity, and all this, then that is pure. That is the purity of Atma. Atma itself. Now, this character, this inherent nature, is not experienced by us, right? It's not experienced by us. Then what we are experiencing? We are experiencing maybe the just opposite of all this. Huh? So we think that we are going to die. We have so much of fear of death. It means we don't believe in this existence. We don't believe in this eternal existence. Okay. Therefore, there is fear of death. Now, similarly, consciousness. Our essential nature is consciousness, but we don't believe in that. We think if we learn something, if we learn Vedanta, then we know Vedanta. If we learn about Atma, we know it. If we learn computer, we know it. So basically, we think we are ignorant. Our knowledge is as an outside element. So we bring knowledge, we practice knowledge. Why? Because we don't believe that the Atma is knowledge. And similarly, bliss. That all we know, because when there is agitation in the mind, and mind is disturbed, and mind is trying to get happiness, it means mind is not enjoying, mind is not getting this bliss. It's not connected with this. Therefore, it is searching outside. And we try in many objects around us. And then in each object, we think that I will get some enjoyment from this. Continuous search for enjoyment. Therefore, you see what a blunder it is. We think that everything is outside. We don't believe in our existence. We don't believe in our consciousness. We don't believe that the bliss and enjoyment is within us. So therefore, Satchitananda Nitya Nirmalata is the real character of Atma. If we accept this, if we meditate on this, then there is no agitation, no problems with this mind on this life is so beautiful. No. So it doesn't mean that you are always in meditation or always in samadhi with all this. No. If you know this, you accept this, you can use your body, you can use your mind, all sense organs as instruments for your purpose. There is no harm to use those, because you will be not disturbed. But as I said in the beginning, this habitual personality, or what we call the preconditioned personality, it should be changed. Because otherwise, there won't be any change that you feel in your life. So this is the character of Atma. Now, with this, when we think about Atma, contemplate on Atma, we feel that I know. Now you all feel. What do you feel? I know Atma. I know Vedanta. For last 1 year, we are learning Vedanta. So I know Vedanta. I am learning Vedanta. So I know Bhagavad Gita, I know Upanishad, I know Atma Bodha, I know this, I know that, I know it, everything we know. So now then, what is the need to say this? I know. No, when people talk about something, we say, I know. Yes, I know what you are talking about. So this I know is an interesting thing happening in us. So therefore, the next question comes, how the notion of this I know arises. I know, I think. So how it arises? So this is what is discussed in the next verse. This is interesting. Atmanas Satchitananda buddhe vrittirididvayam samyojya cha vivekena janamiti pravartate. See how directly Shankaracharya is hitting on our ignorance. This is saying, avivekena janamiti pravartate. And actually, when you say, I know, when I say I know, when you say I know, what does it mean? You are, if you say I know, you are an ignorant. Your ignorance says that you know. If you have knowledge of this self, you will not say I know. So only an ignorant person can cry, I know, I know, I know. So now you see the contradiction. You say you know, but Shankaracharya says you know means you are an ignorant person. Only an ignorant person can say that. So ignorance is the base of I know. This I know means the experience of as I know. Janami, avivekena janami iti pravartate. So it means aviveka here it means non-discrimination, non-separation. Some confusion happened. So due to the lack of discrimination, you say, I know. In this world, nobody will accept this. If you say, when somebody says no, when you talk about when somebody says, I know, and you comment on the person that if you know, then you have no discriminative knowledge. Due to the lack of discrimination, you are saying, I know. Then what would he think? So it will be just a contradictory statement because nobody will accept this. I know means I know well. That is what normal people think. So here I know means you don't know. You don't know what you are saying and what you are doing. If you don't know what you are saying, what you are thinking, then what you are doing is also not correct, because an ignorant person cannot do the right thing. He will do wrong things. So see here how it is described. Atmanaha Satchidamshaha Buddhescha Vrittirididvayam. So we connected two things. We mixed two things or confused two things. What are they? The first one is Atmanaha Satchidamshaha. The existence and consciousness of the self. The essential nature of Atma as existence and consciousness. That is one side. And the other side is Buddhi Vritti. The thought process of intellect, Buddhi Vritti, and Buddhi, the function of Vritti means function, the functions and the activities of intellect. Now, we have confused this. The existence and consciousness of Atma and the functions of intellect, these two are different things. But we confused due to the lack of discrimination or lack of knowledge. So this is what is happening. So with this confusion, we say, I know. So I know means this I is Satchitananda, Atma, and knowing the process is a manifestation of intellect. Okay, so these two are connected. Two separate things. And the self is always conscious, always with the character of consciousness. And the buddhi, the intellect, is non-sentience. It means Atma is illuminating the buddhi. The intellect is illuminated by Atma. It has no consciousness as no, its nature. And when the consciousness of Atma is reflected on buddhi, there is a confusion. That what we call is adhyasa. So we know something else as something else. So Atmanaha Satchidamsascha Buddhi Vritti Vrittiridi Dvayam Samyojya cha avivekena. Samyojya, uniting both of this, connecting both this. Atmanaha Satchidamshaha Buddhi Vrittihi. So we connect both of these two by aviveka, avivekena. Janami di pravartate. When these two are connected, the Atma become buddhi. No, the self become intelligent. We say that person is intelligent. Is an intelligent person. So he is actually this intellect has some good qualities. Then we call it as a person as intelligent person. So and then this union of buddhi and Atma, self and intellect, is actually there is no union, because self has no connection with anything. Self is always asanka. It cannot connect with anything. It cannot no, what you say as mix with anything. It stays separate from everything, like space. So apparently the union is there with Atma and Buddhi. Therefore, we call it as reflective consciousness. In reflection, there is a connection, but that connection is not actual connection. There is no real connection there. Only the mirror and the sunlight, both are there. So the reflection happens. So appearingly, union is there. Therefore, it is said it is confusion. It's not right. It's not, it is superimposed. It is wrong understanding. So samyojya cha vivekena janamiti pravartate. Here the meditation is, now we will discuss a meditation techniques here with this. No, it's very, very simple. I can do when you work, when you walk, when you do anything. In all actions, you can practice this meditation. Whenever you feel that I know, no, just now you are listening, and by listening, what do you think? Yes, I know, I understand now what Swamiji says. I know it. Oh, it's right. It is this. So what? Just listening to it, listening to my words, my the sound produced. We just listening to it and thinking. The mind is working that. Oh, this is I know. Although you are not saying it, but the mind says I know it. Okay, can you feel this? When you feel that I have listened to it, it means I know it. I received it. So how you received? You received because you know it. If you don't know, you have not received. So that this feeling that I have received these words, these sounds, it means I feel that I know it. So at least you feel it. So this feeling, now you say where you feel it. Contemplate on this. Where you feel it. You feel it in the eardrums. Is there any feeling in your eardrum? If you have put on your headphones, then you may feel. No, some sound, some vibrations you may feel. So you feel it. Or where you feel it? You feel it in your heart? You feel it in your brain? Where you feel it? Where you learn it? Where you feel that I know? So pursue this. Contemplate on this. No, whenever any agitation happen in your mind, anything, any functions happen in your mind, just take it and think where it happens, how it is happening, where I am feeling it. It's very interesting meditation. So this is how we feel it, because it is happening somewhere else, and we are confusing with our own existence. Our consciousness is watching that, witnessing the process, only witnessing the process. The special attention should be given here to separate this. Just witnessing. There is no knowing process in Atma. Just witnessing. Therefore, if someone can feel this, I am only a witness, then let anything happen, in your mind, body, and anything, you will not be involved with those, and you will not be identified with those activities. Or sometimes, like, no, if I get angry, so I feel that agitation, the storm of anger is there in my mind. But immediately when I feel it, I become a witness of that. Then what happened? Immediately I could control my anger. So this is the direct effect of this. It's not only with anger, even with the love, even with all our emotions, no? Different emotions. It's quite possible and very simple. Only we are doing the separation of the discrimination of different functions, the function of intellect and function of self, or the existence of them. We don't say the function of self, but we can say the existence of self, the existence of consciousness. So this is so simple, but we have no practice, therefore we are unable to do this. And even jnanis, they get agitated. By some reason or other, they may get agitated. But after that, you ask, are you agitated? They will say, no, I'm not agitated. So you can see the agitation. Then you say, oh, no, I am not agitated. The agitation is there in my mind. The disease is there in my body. The disease is there in my mind. So if I want to treat it, I want to cure the disease, I should treat it, that's all. If I don't want, let it be there. There is nothing in me. So then, all these forms of agitations and functions and differences in mind, especially in mind, because this knowing process, perceiving, or what you say, perceiving or knowing or anything, cognizing, this is not happening in Atma. Atma never perceive objects. Atma never know objects outside. Atma self only witness the objects which are there in the mind, the inner part of mind, antakarana. So when you witness something, you are not witnessing outside. The outside object, you are seeing it, perceiving it. Witnessing only the object in the mind. Okay, so this is the difference between Sakshi Atma, the witness as Atma, and the seer as Atma. So seer is like the combination of consciousness and intellect. Seer is the reflective consciousness in intellect. The knower seer. So now this, when I say I know, it means intellect, my intellect knows. I should say that my intellect knows. But instead of that, we say I know. It is well practiced. It become a habit there. Okay? So there, you cannot change. It is very difficult to change. But at least if we put these thoughts in our mind, this thinking, sometimes we can feel it, that actually nothing is happening in me. All these are happening in intellect and buddhi and all these functions. So therefore, this is called Sankhya Yoga in other Shastras. Knowing that the function of Prakriti, the intellect, is different from the existence of Atma. Now, Atma is all pervading. Okay. Atma is there everywhere. Even in that intellect, Atma is there. Now, the problem is you cannot see intellect in gross form. Intellect is a subtle form, a subtle function of mind. A different aspect of mind. When we call it as an object, no, when you call it something as an object, immediately our mind says object means it is outside, it's gross, it should have some form or something. Otherwise, how can we call it as an object? But here, our thoughts are our objects. When we accept this, the basic thought is I know. The feeling that I know. So now, from today onwards, when you feel I know, you should think the intellect knows. Okay, this is the meditation. I know means intellect knows. I see means intellect sees. I feel means intellect feels. Intellect means mind. We take everything together. Mind, intellect, ego, complex. It's all together. Okay? Is it possible? It's possible, no? Any difficulty with this? Huh? No, it's very simple. It just change your thought pattern. That's all. So till today you are thinking I know means I myself know. We repeatedly say myself know, I know. This is just change it. I know means intellect know. Instead of saying self or feeling that I means self, so here I means intellect. That's all. So by meditation, you will get this idea, more clarity on this idea. Okay. So practice this. And now, okay, already time is over. Yeah, but it is very interesting if we could practice this these simple techniques. And in the Atma Bodha, because the name of the textbook is self Atma Bodha, the knowledge of self. So whatever discussed here is the direct knowledge of self. In various form and various methods, you can get into that level of realization. That's how Shankaracharya ji explains here. Now the next verse says, the unchanging character of Atma. Now what we were talking about, the same thing is explained in another form. For further explanation, that's all. Atmano vikriya nasti buddher bodho na jatvapi jiva sarvamalam nyatva jnata drashtedi muhyati. Atmano vikriya nasti. There is no modification in Atma. Vikriya means modification, changes. There is no modification, there is no change. So you don't try to change Atma. It is waste of time, waste of energy. Nothing will happen if you try to change your Atma, yourself. Now people say you change yourself. It's not possible. You can change only your mind and intellect and body. You can change your dressings, you can change your hairstyle, you can change or all this makeup and things like that for outside body, and you can change the mind with some good thoughts and so some good attitudes. Not all this. This is all possible. Even you can change certain extent that your ego can be changed. No, we can make ego little light, no, by accepting others' ego. No, when you accept others' ego, your ego become light. That is how you make your ego light. Because when you don't accept others' ego, your ego will be stronger. So how people feel simple, how people feel happy, no, by your presence. People ask us when we talk, no, each other, no, when we go to some function, people ask, you are very simple, you don't no, you don't even follow some manners or whatever, say the style of some, like if I am a Swami, I have to follow the style of Swamis, no, I have to follow those things. So I am a Swami, that is why I have to practice certain rules and regulations. I practice that, that's okay. But the feeling is something different. So when feeling is with this ego only, if I keep my strong ego, the strong personality and pride and all those, then others will also feel strong. Because when they come, they feel my strong ego and they will also feel their ego stronger than me. So this is how the friction happens. So if you keep your ego down and light, then the other person who comes will also slowly feel that. No? For example, when you go to see a child, what do you feel? Immediately you become a child. No, you talk with the child, no, in a different tone, and you hold the hands of child in different style. When you hold a hand, you handshake with a friend, it's different. When you handshake with a child, it's different. Now, how this change came? This is the beauty of emotion, because we have this capacity to change. No, we could change it, and it is in the, you are all living with your families. It is very obvious in your family relations, because you behave with different person differently. You change within a short time. You change your emotions and the feeling of ego. So make the ego very light. Then we can experience this. So this this modification, what we call as ego and intellect, this is not there in Atma. So what we say here is Atma cannot be modified. So don't try to change Atma. Try to change all other elements. That's all. When you change all other elements, you will get the experience of reality. You will be experiencing the existence and consciousness of Atma. That's all. So Atmano vikriya nasti. Or buddher bodho na jatvapi. So Atma never undergoes modifications, and this intellect is always with modifications. And this intellect has no capacity, its own capacity for experiencing consciousness or experiencing knowledge. So buddher bodho na jatvapi, because this intellect is instrument. The consciousness is reflected in intellect. When the reflection happens, intellect becomes conscious. Therefore, it is said, by nature, intellect is different from consciousness. There is no consciousness. So, this is the main difference between intellectual functions and the existence of self. Atmanaha vikriya nasti, buddhir bodho na jatvapi. This is another discrimination technique. Jivaha sarvam alam jnatva, jnada drashta iti mukhyati. Then what happens? This individual self, jivaha, this individual self, knowing everything, sarvam alam jnatva, jnata, he says, I am a knower, because the intellect is reflected by consciousness, and the changes are happening in conscious in the intellect. Then then we feel that I am jnata, I am a knower, I am a seer, I am a doer, I am so and so, all these feelings. And this is mukhyati. This is not right. This is delusion. This is delusion because intellect has no consciousness. Now this individual self thinks I am conscious. It means individual self is one with intellect, and whatever happens in intellect, this self, individual self, takes all those as his own activities. Therefore, when I say I know, I am a knower, this is my delusion. When I say I am seer, because the seeing process happening somewhere else. So then let it happen there. Why we take all this on us? Let body function, then let it happen. Whatever happened, it happened to body. But is there? Anyway, this is going to change. Let it be there. Free the self from all these functions. Okay, so this is, as I said, if we practice this in our day-to-day life, with all our activities, or simply think that I am not doing anything. I cannot be a doer. So whatever is being done is done by all other elements. So this is the knowledge, discriminative knowledge here. Jivaha sarvam alam jnatva jnada drashta iti mukhyati. So Acharya uses the word mukhyati. Mukhyati means delusion is wrong understanding. Wrong understanding. Mukhyati. It's not correct understanding. So now, when Vedanta says this, Vedanta is talking about the reality which can be experienced by our own intellect. We don't need others' support here. We don't borrow others' intellect or others' mind or anything from others. Even a dull person, if he understands this much, he can be a jnani here. That is the speciality of Vedanta. In all other shastras or the knowledge or all other schools, you need a special intelligence for special knowledges. No, if you want to become a doctorate in metaphysics, or you want to become a doctor of medicine, or you want to become a anything, you need a special intellect. You should be intelligent, otherwise it's not possible. But for this, for Atma Jnana, if you can understand this much, this simple point, we can get into that. Therefore, we say, for Vedanta, we don't need a highly, learned person or and highly intelligent person. We don't need it. We need a person who can accept what Shastra says. If he can accept it and practice, definitely the result will come. Okay, this is the qualification here. So we say as mumukshutva. So he is seeking for moksha, liberation. Then we can get all these knowledges. Okay, with this we conclude today's session. I think there is no questions, because in last time also there was no question. Nobody is asking questions. So therefore I extended 10 minutes more. Okay. So if you have any questions, you write down, and the next time we can discuss. But I know you will not have any questions, because in this cases you will not have any questions. When we discuss about worldly things, some other things, you may have questions. About Atma, there is no chance of questions, because this is a direct experience. What I am talking, or what the Shastra says that what you are experiencing, that is discussing here. Therefore, there is no chance of questions. Okay. So, Hari Om. Om Purnamataha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudashyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Okay, thank you. Hari Om.